Have you ever looked around the room and thought, why wasn't my name put forward? You've led the projects, delivered the results, done everything right. So why are you being overlooked? Welcome to the Your Next Move podcast, the show for high-performing professionals who want to be seen for their brilliance, speak with influence, and accelerate their path to leadership. I'm your host, Kimberly Brown, international career and leadership expert, keynote speaker, and best-selling author of Next Move, Best Move. If you're ready to turn up the volume and finally get seen, heard, and respected inside and outside of your organization, you're in the right place. Let's head into today's episode. Hello, and welcome back to episode 113 of the Your Next Move podcast. I'm Kimberly Brown, and today we are doing something a little different. Similar to last week, I am definitely in a reflective mode. So I want to share my 2026 personal development curriculum and also how you can make your own annual curriculum. So I'm pulling back the curtain today. It's for anyone who's ready to stop incrementally improving and really start thinking 10x. I want to walk you through how I'm approaching 2026, the frameworks I'm using, the investments I'm making, and some really vulnerable truths about what it takes to build while I'm grieving, while I'm scared, and while I honestly sometimes don't even feel like I'm ready. If you've been waiting for permission to go big, to be messy, to be human while building something extraordinary, this episode is for you. So let me start with some context, because I think we need to normalize that growth does not happen in some magical vacuum. In August, like I shared in the last podcast, I lost my mom, which was only 4 months ago. And I'm not going to pretend that I've processed it or that I'm on the other side of it. I am in it. This holiday season proved that immensely to me. Even getting up to record this podcast was a little of a journey for me. And when my girlfriend is currently on her way to come pick me up, to make sure that I'm not just sitting on my couch, playing my new merge games on my cell phone, which is my latest distraction. So I'm still in it, but I'm also building the biggest year of my business and in my career. I've also been on a pretty significant health journey. I've lost 40 pounds, but I've plateaued for the last 6 months. And honestly, I'm exhausted from fighting my body while also trying to build a business and grieving. I'm also carrying some business and personal debt that I'm trying to eliminate. And I have this massive vision that I want to build a global community, hundreds and thousands of professionals, Oprah level impact. And I'm scared. I'm scared of the visibility. I'm scared of failing. And I'm scared of actually succeeding too, if we're honest. So that's where I'm starting 2026, not from a place of I've got it all figured out, but from a place of I'm committed to the vision, even when I am afraid. And here's what I've learned. You don't wait until you're ready. You build a curriculum that meets where you are, and it takes you to where you want to go. So first off, I want to start with this 10x thinking. So let's talk about a framework that for me, it's really changing everything. Going to 10x thinking versus 2x thinking. And this comes from the book 10x versus 2x by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. So here's the difference. 2x thinking says things like, how do I do more of what I'm already doing? Work harder, add more clients, say yes to more opportunities, optimize and hustle. But 10x thinking says, what's the 20% that will create 80% of my results? And what do I need to eliminate? How can you work smarter, focus on leverage, say no to anything that does not align to that 10x vision, and you subtract and simplify? Most of us, including myself, have been in 2x mode. We're trying to add our way to success, but 10x literally requires subtraction. So here's how this showed up in a recent coaching session. I said something like, I need consistent daily actions. I need to use my time more wisely. But my coach said, that is symptom language. The real issue is you haven't clearly defined your 20%. And she was right. I was trying to do all of the things, speaking, writing, client work, health goal, marriage work, debt elimination, and wondering why I wasn't 10xing. The 10x question that changed everything was, of all of these areas, business growth, health, relationships, debt, which one, O-N-E, one underline 18 times, if you absolutely crushed it in the next 90 days, would create the most momentum across all of the others? That's the question you need to answer for yourself. Not what you should focus on, not what sounds the most impressive, but what singular focus would actually move everything else forward. For me, that is launching a new group program and it's coming in February. You've heard me talk about the visibility shift a few times. It's a high level speaking and personal brand building program for professionals. This one program is going to completely transform my business model and help me to stop trading time for money to be leveraged and finally build a scalable company. Everything else, the speaking gigs I love, the book I'm writing, the health goals, these are all going to become supporting players to this main event. So if you were listening to this episode and you are driving in a car, or hopefully if you are in your office and you can write things down for a second, this is where you want to press pause. And I want you to write this down. What is your 20%? What's the one thing that if you went all in would change everything else? Now, for me, when I think about this, it is generally a gut reaction. This isn't something I've had to ponder. It is that subtle knowing behind the scenes that you're like, huh, oh, it's that. I know it's that. That's the thing. When you have that feeling, that sigh, that is the thing. So go ahead and pause and write that down, scribble it down. Doesn't have to be pretty, just so you keep that in mind while you continue to listen to this episode. So I want to talk about not only what I'm learning, but who I'm learning from. I am a coach. I'm a speaker. I'm an author. And as a coach, I also have coaches. And I have coaches and programs and frameworks that I'm investing in for 2026 because personal development isn't free and it's not random. It has to be strategic and you have to decide who you are going to learn from. So I have, let's see, I have three things here that I want to share that I'm really focusing on the investments and how I'm kind of strategizing and structuring everything. So, number one is my coaching team. I have five big investments that I've made this year. So, the first one is sales and marketing, coaching, and membership. The program and the coach who I'm learning from, she has a membership and she has a mastermind. I'm in both. Joining the membership gave me a little extra support, some challenges, some more events, some more in-person things, more coaching if I need it, async coaching. And the mastermind, I actually get bi-weekly 30-minute coaching sessions. I get a deeper curriculum, much more higher level conversations that are happening on a weekly basis in group coaching. So one-on-one and group coaching, all focused on sales and marketing. Sales and marketing as a business owner, that is the area as a leader that I need to grow significantly. So that's where my first investment is. My second investment is a personal branding strategist. And this is where I focus on my book writing and on my speaking. I have been in this program. I'm going into my third year with the same coach. I absolutely positively love it. It is a combination of one-on-one sessions monthly. There are probably 2 to 3 events per year that are multi-day events that I'm able to attend. An amazing curriculum, but this is really the support that I'm using to help me write book number 2. This also connects me to other coaches, other people speaking, writing, all of the things. The community is incredible. I've been a member of this organization for 3 years, and I'm excited to go into this year again. Number 3, the third person on my coaching team is a personal finance coach. I am someone who spends on vibes. I'm not proud to say that, but budgeting has always been something that I kind of spend the money, then figure it out later versus budgeting for the investments on a personal side. So I've been working with someone. I started in August of this past year to help pull my personal finances together. I want to buy a home. I'm going into, it'll be 5 years of entrepreneurship. Okay? So getting my finances ready to purchase a home as an entrepreneur is different than someone who has a W-2 with a sizable income. So working through that whole process. On the business side, I joined a business finance membership. I had a fractional CFO in my company, fractional CFO and someone who did tax prep for me, still does. I love her to death. But I wanted to learn a little bit more on my own. I felt like I was delegating a little too much and I needed to take a step back and get in the weeds and get in the numbers. So I'm working in a membership program focused on finance. And I think they call it like it's money school essentially, like where I'm learning, I'm building my P&L, my balance sheet, doing more budgeting, all of those things to pay off personal and professional debt. And last but not least on my coaching team, number 5 is my therapist because I believe in therapy. I go once a week and it is probably one of the highlights of my week. Even if it's a good session, even if it's a bad session, I think that that is the basis for all of the other things that I'm doing. So that's step 1 is my coaching team. Number 2 is the philosophy, which we just talked about, that 10x versus 2x philosophy. This isn't just a book to read. It is the lens that I'm applying to every decision, every opportunity that comes my way, every coach who I hire. I'm asking myself, is this 10x or 2x? If it's 2x thinking, doing more of what I'm already doing, I say no. Number 3, last but not least, so we have the coaching team, we have the 10x versus 2x mindset. I have the quarterly planning. So I'm breaking 2026 into quarters with a key focus area for each quarter. I need to fine tune this bit just a little bit more, but I got deeply inspired by some creative ladies online and I purchased a threefold poster board, the one that we used to use in middle school presentation. And I printed out a quarterly overview and a monthly calendar page and I'm literally mapping it all out. Every single goal, what I'm focusing on, everything. So I want you to ask yourself, what programs, mentors, or frameworks do you need to invest in this year? Don't wait for extra money, extra time. The investment is the commitment. I am a really big believer that when you pay, you show up. That is why, as a coach and someone who offers freebies to download, I know most people don't even, sometimes they'll download it. So I'll give some folks some credit. You download it, but do they actually do the exercises? No. What makes people show up is a money and energy exchange, not just the energy exchange of downloading the thing, like I have the resource, I'm good now. Paying and getting that accountability and the information and a structured curriculum and framework to follow to help you achieve your goals. That is the type of commitment that I look for myself. And one of the things I ask my clients for. And I tell everyone, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. So this isn't the pitch of, ooh, hire me, work with Kimberly, because I know I am not everybody's coach. People who know that they want to work with me, they know. You need to find the person, the framework, the mentor, the program that works for you. So when you know what you want to work on, when you know what your 10x vision is, I challenge you to start looking for who is the person who can help you get there. The person, the program, the event, what is it that can help you get there? So I want to transition and get a little specific for you because I know one of the questions that I always get is like, well, what are you actually working on? So I want to give you my high level goals for 2026. For business, the primary goal is launching and scaling my group program, The Visibility Shift. I will be selling 3 cohorts in 2026. And I have some goals of the amount of people who I want in each cohort and looking to grow it exponentially with every cohort. I want this to be the new way that I work with folks. And I'm really, really, really excited about it. And it also doesn't require me to be on a plane 200 days a year. So I also love that too, because now that I am happily married, I want to be home with my husband and my dog. Like that's where I want to be. The supporting goals to that primary goal is to continue strategic speaking engagements, feed my program funnel and at my company's funnel. So sometimes I like to speak places because I just enjoy it. But this year I'm being really strategic on, is this where I need to be? Are people who would be interested in the visibility shift going to be there? Are people who would hire Brown Leadership for corporate programming and workshops and leadership development programs going to be there? If yes, I'll be there. If not, probably not. Next, I'll be finishing and scheduling the publishing of my second book, which I'm so excited about, and building a content strategy that shares all of this and shows my vulnerability and my expertise. So when I'm stopping, because I think that's really important too, on the business side is speaking gigs that don't align with my ideal client. All of the administrative and ops work that I know my team should be doing, but I do. Prime example, I just booked all of my travel yesterday for January. My executive assistant should have done this. She's asked me multiple times to do it, but I could not relinquish control and I ended up doing it myself. So in 2026, we're going to stop that. And the last thing I'm stopping is perfectionism as a prerequisite for visibility. I need to just show up. On the personal side, so I did like my business, my career. On the personal side, I want to move my body more, at least 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week, not just for weight loss, but for grief processing and my overall mental health. and give myself permission to be good enough physically while being extraordinary professionally. And I need to stop using a health transformation as a prerequisite for being visible. I, for example, have not redone my new website because I don't want to take pictures at my current size. This is a hard one for me. And in my coaching session, I was asked, can you give yourself permission to be good enough physically for this launch while being extraordinary in your expertise? And I said, I can give myself permission. I just don't want to. But that's the work, right? Vulnerability is really showing up as you are, not who you wish you were. On the grief and mental health side, I want to honor that I'm building something big while grieving my mom and allow vulnerability to be a strength, not a weakness, and continue to practice self coaching myself, giving myself time, and being in therapy consistently. And on another personal note, I want to eliminate the business of personal debt this year through launching this other service, through strategic speaking engagements, all of those things, and stop making financial decisions from a scarcity mindset, start making them from abundance. So the last thing I realized in my coaching session is that I've been waiting to be perfect before I allow myself to be fully visible. Perfect body, perfect business, perfect life. But women who need what I'm offering don't need perfection. They need powerful and real and professional. Most folks who work with me are women, so I say women, but please know the doors are open to men as well. They need someone who is real. My humanity isn't a liability. It's my marketing advantage. So, before we kind of bring this episode to a close, I want to help you create your own 2026 curriculum. It is now your turn. So, here's how to create your own personal development curriculum in 2026. I have how many steps here? I have 7 steps for you. Okay. So, step 1, get brutally honest about where you are. I want you to answer these questions. What's actually working in my life, career, and business right now? What's the number one obstacle keeping me from my 10x vision? Not a list. What is the capital THE obstacle? What is the thing? Where am I playing small or avoiding something important? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe that your 10x outcome is actually possible? And why did you pick that number? Step 2, you need to define your 10x vision, not 2x, not incremental growth, not step growth, the 10x. What does 10x look like for you in concrete terms? Is it salary, revenue, impact, lifestyle, freedom? And what do you need to do differently if you believe that this was inevitable? If you knew that your 10x vision could be your reality, what would you do differently? And what do you need? And who do you need to become to make this vision real? So then the same way Dan Sullivan asks, we need to, step 3, identify your 20%. What is the one thing that if I went all in on it for the next 90 days would create momentum across all areas of your life? This is your primary focus. Everything else is secondary. Step 4, we're going to choose your investments. You can't DIY your way to 10X. Who do you need to learn from? What programs, coaches, and frameworks do you need? Make the financial and time investment now, not when you have more money, not when you have more time. The right investment will expedite your success. You want to be successful without the tools. But imagine how much more successful you would be with the right support, curriculum, framework, all of it. I think we postpone investing sometimes because we want to get ready, but the investment can help us clear out that muck in our minds and our life and make the big steps and do the 10X now. Step 5, and if you hire that coach, you can do this in your quarterly planning. Break down your year into quarters. If you read the 12-week year, I'm a big, big fan of that book. It helps you do quarterly 90-day planning really, really well. And think about what is your main goal that you want to achieve each and every quarter. Step 6 is daily self-coaching. So this is something that my sales and marketing coach introduced me to. Now I've talked about self-coaching in the beginning of this podcast. So if you want to go back, I believe I'll put the episodes in the show notes, but I believe it's like episode like 99, 100, 101 over there. There's a method that I show for self-coaching. This is another method that also resonates with me. It's called the CTFAR method. And it helps you catch yourself and how you're sabotaging yourself and all those patterns. So you understand, what is the circumstance? What is the thought that's creating resistance? What feeling is that thought creating? What actions am I taking or avoiding because of that feeling? And what is the result that I'm creating? So that is, first you go through like the negative thought, the negative circumstance, the negative thought, negative feeling, negative actions you're taking, and the negative result that you're getting. And then you go back and you create an intentional model of what thought would create the result that you actually want. And I want you to spend some time doing this daily. This is the number one thing that I'll be doing throughout the entire year, is dedicating time to coaching myself and improving my mindset around my goals. And last but not least, I want you to make sure you're not doing this alone. I know I talked about the resources that you need. Maybe it's a framework, maybe it's a book, maybe it's a conference, maybe it is a coach. But if you don't have accountability, I want you to share your goals with someone who will call you on your BS and not just cheer you on. For me, I need people who will say, Kimberly, you said help with the distraction from the launch. Are you doing it again? I want that real accountability. So for me, I tell my husband my goals. I tell some of my friends my goals. I have coaches who hold me accountable. Even in the programs where there's a group aspect, I generally like to have some folks who are doing similar things, and we all hold ourselves accountable. So before we close, I want to give you the same permission slip that my coach gave me. You are enough exactly as you are today to go after your 10x vision. You don't need to lose the weight first. You don't need to have it all figured out first. You don't need to feel ready first. The version of you that achieves the 10x vision is waiting on the other side of perfection. That person is available to you right now, today. Your humanity, your grief, your fear, your mess, your imperfection is not your liability. It is your differentiator. The people who need what you're offering need to see someone who's real, who's building while not being perfect, who's doing hard things while afraid. And here's what my coach asked me that I'm now asking you. What would you do differently if failure was literally impossible and your 10x vision was already guaranteed? Would you still be waiting? Would you still be playing small? Would you still be letting fear run your strategy? Or would you go all the way in, all the way? So that is my 2026 personal development curriculum. And that's the framework for also building yours. So to recap, I want you to get honest about where you are, define your 10x vision, identify your 20%, choose your investments, plan quarterly, self-coach daily, and put in some accountability structure. This year, I'm launching my first high-level group program in February, teaching professionals how to build their brand through public speaking. I'm doing it while grieving my mom. I'm doing it while carrying debt. I'm doing it while not feeling ready. And I'm doing it anyway, because that's what 10X requires. Not perfection, it requires commitment. If this episode resonated with you, here's what I want you to do. I want you to screenshot this episode wherever you're listening and share it on Instagram and tag me at Kimberly B Online and tell me what your 20% is for 2026. Number 2, go back and listen to this with a journal. I know I clean while I listen to podcasts. Sometimes I'm driving. If you want to build your personal curriculum, I need you to go back and repeat this episode. Listen with a pen and paper so that you can answer all of the questions that I asked. And last but not least, if you're a high-level professional who wants to build your brand through public speaking, my February cohort is opening soon, and I'd love to talk to you. You can register for my webinar on February 4th. It is called Build Your Professional Brand Through Public Speaking by going to kimberlybonline.com/webinar. And remember, you don't wait until you're ready. You build a curriculum that meets you where you are and takes you where you want to go. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year. Until next time.